Chelsea 4, Wrexham 2. Chelsea are through to the next round of the FA Cup, but mate, Wrexham put in a proper shift tonight, man. Welcome, Blue Believers, to another episode of the Stamford Sync, where we are syncing up with everything Chelsea FC. And today we are talking about an absolutely wild tie in Chelsea 4, Wrexham 2. So look, I'm going to preface all of this, right? I'm going to talk about Wrexham first. Wrexham were unbelievable today. They were so good, man. Were Chelsea good enough? No, is the answer to that question. But that does not take away the absolute astounding performance that Wrexham just put in. I did a short on TikTok the other day, right? And I had a guy commenting on the TikTok, and he was like, and you know, I mentioned that Wrexham's a bit of a fairy tale, isn't it? To go from the 5th tier of English football to the 2nd tier in 5 years is absolutely wild. And the guy comments, and he's just like, it's not a fairy tale, it's just money. I wish everyone would stop saying it's money or it's a fairy tale because it's just money. And he was like, you know, kind of negging on Wrexham's rise. But tonight's performance from Wrexham just showed that that is absolutely not the case at all. Yeah, okay, money for sure was a massive part of why they got through, you know, League 2, League 1 and got themselves into the Championship. But they've just come up against a Premier League team who have spent billions of pounds on their squad, and we are not even nearly talking about the same kind of thing at the moment. Phil Parkinson has galvanised that squad. He has created team spirit. They are so well organised. They never took their eye off the ball. They stuck to their game plan, and even after going a man down towards the end of the game, they took us almost right to the end. We put one away that, you know, literally the last kick of the game that, you know, kind of saved the tie. But with everything that was going on for Wrexham, that was going against them, do you know what I mean? Having, you know, obviously being a Championship side and having spent much less money on their squad, they gave us a real game there. And look, you know, there's nuance, there's caveats, there's arguments. We didn't put out a super strong start 11 compared to usual, but we had to have them on at the end in order to win the game, right? So look, before I go any further in this video, I just want to say Wrexham were absolutely amazing. And I'm not going to lie, before I was like, oh, I'd love Wrexham to get into the Prem. That'd be amazing. Now I'm like, oh, I don't know, man, because I'm not sure that's a guaranteed 6 points. Do you know what I mean? We played them once before in the 24-25 preseason. It was a 2-2 draw. And obviously it stayed a draw because it was a preseason game. And this one almost went to penalties, man. It almost went to penalties. It was a hair away from penalties. But guys, before we properly get into the video, if you are enjoying the content and would like to see more, please do me the distinct honour of liking and sharing this video, subscribe to the channel, or just roast me in the comments. Whatever gets you through your day. And if you are a Wrexham fan, I would love to know what you thought about this game in my comment section. Right, so let's start with the lineup. We've got so much to talk about, man. This is probably going to be quite a long one, but we have got so much to talk about, and I'm just going to get into all of it. We're going to start with the lineup, and as ever, we're going to go back to front. I was only one off in my starting 11, man, in my predicted starting 11, and I'll comment on what that is when we get there. So, in goal, Robert Sanchez. Now, Robert Sanchez looks like, 6.8 from SofaScore seems reasonable. He nearly got us in trouble a couple of times today, man. I'm not going to lie to you. And I think it is really telling that Robert Sanchez started this game and not Philip Jorgensen. And that almost leads me to believe entirely that Philip Jorgensen is going to get the start against PSG. So, Robert Sanchez in goal. A back three comprised of Mamadou Sarr, Tosin Adarabioyo, and Benoit Badiashile. Now, Benoit Badiashile, it was the only one I didn't expect to see. I thought Dario Asugo might play in midfield instead. Now, he did come on later, as we're going to get into in a bit, but that was the one that I kind of got wrong. Josh Achampong at right wing back, which he had a good game, obviously, because he scored the goal, the second goal, to equalise again, but he didn't have an amazing game at right wing back. I don't think he looks super good there, not compared to Reece James or even Malagusto. As a genuine right back or a centre back, yeah, cool, but I don't think necessarily that's his best position. Midfield pivot of Andre Santos and Romeo Lavia. Now, Romeo Lavia has got the lowest score on here, but I thought in general he looked pretty good. I didn't think he had a bad game at all. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, this was his first full proper game since he's come back from injury, so you know he's going to go hopefully from strength for strength. But even though he got a pretty low score, I do think that he had a promising game. Left back, Yoro Hato, left wing back, sorry. And although it's left wing back, we did play three at the back, he definitely did quite a lot of inverting into midfield as well. Two attacking forwards behind the striker in Alejandro Garnacho, who won us the tie. Fair play to him. That's two good performances from Alejandro Garnacho in a row now. Pedro Neto didn't have an amazing game, but, you know, did Pedro Neto things. And Liam Delap up top, who had, for me, a really polarising performance. outside of getting any numbers, he looked good. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, Liam Delap was, he held up the ball really well. He, the first goal that was technically went down as an own goal, he played a really important part in that. And, the hold up, he looks like a good striker until you need him to put the ball in the back of the net. Do you know what I mean? So that was kind of the same old story from Liam Delap there. But yeah, I don't think we're really set up for this three at the back thing super well, man. And the reason for that is the centre-backs. Do you know what I mean? Is we haven't got strong enough centre-backs. So, I mean, that's supposed to take the pressure off of them, isn't it? But at the same time, it's like, I just don't really think it works for us. I much prefer us with a four-back and more midfielders. But that's just me. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. And we'll quickly move on to the substitutions, because there were a lot of them. There were 6 substitutions today because Wrexham took us to extra time. Absolutely wild. So, Mark Yu came on the 58th minute for a tactical change for Mamadou Sarr. So that back 3, 5, whatever, did eventually go to a back 4. And Mark Yu came on, as you can see, 6.1, didn't really do anything. Marco Correa came on at the 65th minute for Yoro Hato, which is a bit of a like-for-like at that point. Dario Asugo came on, and mate boy got 2 assists. 2 assists. I thought it was only 1, but I'm looking at here, and there's the little boot with the little 2. He got 2 assists. Dario Asugo's first game in a Chelsea shirt for absolutely ages, and he did look really good. Like, he looked really, really good. So that was awesome. Malagusto comes on for Josh Achiampong in the 85th minute, as João Pedro comes on for Liam Delap. João Pedro just turning up and doing João Pedro things, by the way. João Pedro playing in the 10 for the most part as well. Didn't really play as a striker today, but again, just looked so good there. I absolutely loved it. And finally, we did see the arrival of Jesse Derry on the 100th minute for Pedro Neto. Oh, mate, what an absolute wild game this was. So what we're going to do is we're literally, because there was just so many things that happened in this game, we're literally just going to have a look through all of the things that happened, right? This is like the timeline for the game. So, look, out of the gate, we looked shaky. Do you know what I mean? We looked a little bit shaky, and Wrexham looked like they were really, really up for it. And that never changed for Wrexham. We had to grow into the game. Wrexham brought their A game from the start and really pushed us to the wire 100%. Callum Doyle, the centre-back from Wrexham, with this absolutely unbelievable assist. So the problem that we had, right, is we were pressing them so high, and we were, because, they kind of drew that out of us because they were, they were essentially low blocking us. But what they did that was really, really smart is they kept on completely taking advantage of that and using all of that space that we were creating in the middle of the pitch to try and get the ball up to their attacking players. And that's exactly what they did. Sam Smith scored a goal. Robert Sanchez was really far off his line. I don't know. I would like to know what you guys think about this, actually. It felt to me like he was too far off of his line, and I just don't think that he looked comfortable in general. And there was a couple of times, this is the only time that it cost us a goal, but Robert Sanchez for me was too far off of his line. Callum Doyle launches one from the back to the front. Sam Smith grabs hold of it, puts it past Robert Sanchez because he was like 15 yards out in front of his goal. Do you know what I mean? And we're 1-0 down. And it's like, oh dear, that's not good, is it? So we managed to get a goal back, and it was technically an own goal, right? It was technically an own goal. This is the one that Liam Delap did some really, really good work for. The hold-up play was really good, and wicked. That was great stuff from Liam Delap there. But it wasn't a super clean, lovely goal to watch, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it got us back in the tie. We went into half-time 1-1. Then we come out and nothing really happens for a little while. No subs are made until the 58th minute when Mark Yu comes on. That's when Liam Rosenior decided to make a tactical change because what we were doing obviously wasn't working. And Mamadou Sarr did not have a great game. Completely polarising from the game he had against Hull, where he was so clean, so assured. His passing was absolutely excellent, but at the same time, the formation was different. He wasn't playing as a part of a back three then, do you know what I mean? He was on the right of a back three today, and that doesn't look like a super comfortable position for him, especially not with us. I think he played in the centre at Strasbourg of the back three. He was like the passing Maguba, I like to call it. Romeo Lavia comes off at the 65th minute for Dario Asugo, and Dario Asugo, big part of changing the game. He did really, really well. And like I said, obviously Marco Correa came on. And it was just more of the same, man. Like, it was 1-1 up until the 78th minute when they got their second goal. And their second goal was courtesy of the same Callum Doyle that created that unbelievable assist for the first goal. And this guy, man, who is this guy? Like, that absolutely unbelievable assist for the first goal. And the second goal, the cheekiest, most subtle, sly little back heel you have ever seen in your life. I swear, it was absolutely wild. But fair play to him, man. Fair play to him. We're 2-0 down. Gutter. Oh, absolute nightmare, man. I am not looking forward to making this video. I mean, this was a stressful game to watch, man. It was a stressful game to watch. I'm glad that I am enjoying making the video. But at one point, I was like, oh, no, this is not going to be fun. we're going to get battered by Wrexham. But we didn't, because Josh Achiampong levels us again with a great strike, you know, fairly close, and, you know, making good of being quite far up from that wing-back role. Do you know what I mean? So the game is then 2-2. Do you know what I mean? And the tension is palpable, my friends. The tension is absolutely palpable. And the thing is, like, we were just not good enough. Do you know what I mean? We just weren't good enough at all. Like, and you know, as you're going to see as we get into what happened in extra time, we had to bring on the big guns in order to start making things happen. Do you know what I mean? And that is worrying, man. Like, Wrexham, don't get me wrong. Like, I wax lyrical about what Wrexham at the start of this, and they completely deserve it. But even our second string team should comfortably be putting away Wrexham, like we did with Hull. Do you know what I mean? Like we did with Hull. We just didn't have an answer to their level of organised tactical acumen that was basically put into them. Every single player on the Wrexham team was doing their job perfectly, and we really struggled to cut through them. So yeah, Josh Achiampong levels the tie on the 82nd minute, and I was like, okay, it felt like it was going to go to extra time, and inevitably it did. That's when João Pedro came on for Liam Delap. So Mark Yu was kind of playing up front. João Pedro was playing in the 10. I'm not going to lie to you, Mark Yu felt pretty invisible. And then, yeah, Malagusto came on, which was good as well. Do you know what I mean? Malagusto's a lot more of an archetypal right back / right wing back than Josh Achiampong is. So although Josh Achiampong got the goal, I did think we looked a bit better when Malagusto came on. 6 minutes additional time. Then something wild happened. Dobson, I don't know his first name, G Dobson. We'll just call him G. G got himself sent off with a very reckless challenge on Alejandro Garnacho, and initially it was only given as a yellow. So another wild thing to happen in this game. It was given as a yellow. I saw it and I was like, oh, mate, that looks like a red to me, but what do I know? I'm not a ref. Whatever, the ref called yellow, and then the VAR basically said, go look at it, man, but I'm pretty sure that's a red card. It got changed to a red card. What was really funny and a bit sad, actually, at the same time, so the Wrexham fans were unbelievable in this game, man. You could hear every single thing they were saying, like, in unison so cleanly. That fan base is so together. It is literally unbelievable. It was amazing to hear. They were not happy about VAR. They were singing a song that involved a superlative and what they would like to do with VAR, and it was just so funny, man. Do you know what I mean? It was so funny, and like I say, that was the moment that really stood out to me, and it happened a lot through the game, but I was like, mate, this fan base is so behind their team. They are so behind their team. Absolutely unbelievable. So, full time, 2-2, right? Savage, man. We've made all of our 5 subs as well, so I wasn't even sure. I was like, I seem to remember in some competitions, if it goes to this point, you can have an extra sub, and that did turn out to be the case. It didn't happen instantly, but then we get into extra time, right? Alejandro Garnacho scored a wicked goal, man. And the assist, you know what, the whole thing, it was probably the best piece of football from Chelsea in the entire game, was Dario Sugo receiving the ball, first time looping cross over the front, and Garnacho he saw it, he timed his run absolutely perfect, arrived, it was almost like Raheem Sterling at Man City, do you know what I mean, where he just arrives perfectly at the right time, the ball just, like, he smashes it into the back of the net, and there was this wild moment, right? There was this absolutely wild moment where it was like, it bounced off the bar at the bottom. So because the view was from the side, it looked like it had just bounced in and out, and I wasn't sure that it got down. Alejandro Garnacho was like running and he did his sit down celebration thing, but I was sat there like, did it go in? Did it go in? And Garnacho seemed to be the only one that was sure that it did. But it did go in. They played it in slow motion, and I literally can't even remember the last time I've seen this, but he smashed it so hard and so perfectly that it just bounced right back out of the goal. And from the angle that I was, that was on the camera, it wasn't immediately evident to me that it had gone in, but it did go in. Wicked. It's 3-2. We're in control of the game again, but it's taken to, where are we? It's taken to, like the 6 minutes. We're past full time at the end of the day. We're over 100 minutes when you include extra time at this point, 100 minutes of football for us to get in control of this game, and it's only because they had a man sent off as well. This is another crazy thing, man, because they were just so good and they just kept together, and even though it was very evident that they were a man down and that there was still space, loads more space for us to play in, they just did not let up at all. They were so good. And then 100th minute, Jesse Derry comes on, which is cool, do you know what I mean? And I called him Max Derry several times in my video today, by the way. Very sorry, Jesse, if you ever happen to watch this or watch my content. Got your name wrong that time, but it is Jesse. He came on for Pedro Neto, didn't have a huge impact, didn't really look like he was, got super close to making anything happen, but it is good that he's getting minutes and that he's being trusted in these kind of games. Yeah, and then cards start coming out. Do you know what I mean? You see one there for Thomason, one there for Andre Santos, like fouls, time wasting. It was all getting a bit hairy. Do you know what I mean? And then 116th minute, Brunt, a player that they just brought on, looked like he'd scored a goal, and the offside was... Oh, mate, the offside it was a hair. It was literally a hair. A Rizzler paper, as Rory Jennings would say. And I was sat there with my head in my hands, man. I was like, oh, no, it's 3-3. It's going to go to penalties. I hate penalties. I can just about deal with penalties when it comes to international football because it feels like it's just a big part of it. But we shouldn't be getting taken to penalties by Wrexham in the FA Cup 5th round. It's absolutely ridiculous. But the VAR god smiled upon us, and the Wrexham fans once again made it known that they do not love VAR. And yeah, then we're back in the game. Do you know what I mean? We're back in the game. It's still 3-2. And then... yeah, so some stuff kicks off. I can't remember exactly what it was. Their striker kick, was basically went in on a bit of a rash challenge on Cucurella at one point and was standing over him, being the big man and whatever. And then Garnacho waves the invisible card and do you know what I mean? Drama, mate, drama. This game was just full of drama. And then João Pedro decided he was bored of being a number 10 and decided to just be classic João Pedro again. Picks up the ball on the right hand side of the halfway line, runs through the entire team on the halfway up the pitch, do you know what I mean? And then just pops one in casually as you like. One thing I will say about João Pedro in this game, he was the only player for me, looking at the entire Chelsea team playing against 6th place championship side Wrexham, he was the only player that looked levels above. Everyone else looked like they were fighting for it. But João Pedro was strolling through this game, man, in the number 10. And right at the end, he decided, you know what, I'm just going to pop one in. And he did. So that's amazing. That takes João Pedro to 18 goals for the season, which now officially means he's better than Nicholas Jackson. Do you know what I mean? He's bested Nicholas Jackson's best season, and he's, now the best striker we've had. Like, the last time anyone scored 18 goals in the league as a striker was Tammy Abraham. Do you know what I mean? And I talked about it a little while ago in one of my videos the other day. Go and check it out if you haven't already. 10 years ago, Diego Costa scored 22 goals in all competitions in the season, and João Pedro has still got 10 games to go, more than that maybe, in all competitions now, and has only got to score another 4 goals to match our best striker's goal return of the last 10 years, literally. And he's already, Diego Costa had 29 GA with assists as well. So, I think João Pedro's got 6 assists, maybe 7 at the moment. But he's on track to be our best striker for a really, really long time. So, that's it, man. That's the game. That's what happened. It was wild. So many props to Wrexham, man. So many props to Wrexham. I'm not looking forward to coming up against them myself again, but I would love to see Wrexham in the Premier League next year, man. If they can get into the playoffs and they can navigate some of those tricky ties. Look, it's a massive ask, man. It's a massive ask. Their first time in the Championship getting promoted to the Prem is wild. The fact that I thought that personally, when they got into the Championship, I was like, right, the money has been able to kind of get them through those, 3 tiers or whatever to get into the Championship. But I thought they'd have to spend 2, 3, 4 seasons in the Championship and really, really build before they were looking at getting in the Prem. But if they don't do it this season, chances are they'll probably do it next season. Do you know what I mean? They're just looking so good. But yeah, fair play to Wrexham, man. And like I say, if you're a Wrexham fan, come and chat to me about it in the comments, man. I don't care what anyone says about the money stuff. You can have money in football, and it doesn't matter anymore. Look at Spurs. Spurs are looking like they're getting relegated, and they are the most profitable club in the country. Man United, although playing pretty well recently, since Alex Ferguson left, have spent an enormous amount of money. They've been absolutely terrible at selling. They've just been hemorrhaging money for the last, 15 years or whatever it is since Alex Ferguson left. And they are still, really, really struggling in order to achieve that kind of stuff. Arsenal, looking like they might win the league now. Do you know what I mean? Depending on, Man City has kind of dropped the ball a little bit. But Arsenal have spent 8 years buying players and spending lots of money on Mikel Arteta and his team in order to get them there. Do you know what I mean? So people can say, it's just money, it doesn't matter. But it's not just money, man. It is the right manager. It is the right system. It is the right players. It's the right staff. It's the right fans. It's everything. And Wrexham are doing an absolutely unbelievable job. And I think they're brilliant. And, I will watch them with great interest. if they make it into the Premier League next season. But yeah, guys, that is it. I'm going to wrap the video up there. This was an absolutely wild one, man. Absolutely wild one, genuinely. But I, in retrospect, now I'm on the other side of it, I can say that was a fun game, almost from a neutral perspective, right? But I'm not going to lie to you, when I was in it, I was not happy with my team, man. I was not happy with my team at all. But at the end of the day, the big boys came out. Garnacho got the winning goal, and as he should be, do you know what I mean? Because he's our best left winger, really. Our best left-footed right winger, and you know that's what, maybe 11 goals. No, what's that, like 6-7 goals for him in this? It's not very many. Do you know what I mean? He's not. You know, he's not got. Yeah, I think that's his like 7th goal for the season. And João Pedro just adding to his tally in a really clean and classy way. Absolutely loved it. Nice one, guys. Thanks very much for sticking around until the end of the video. If you did, I will catch up with you all very, very soon. Take it easy. Peace.